Hi everyone! So in celebration of our January Fearsome Fairy Tales box, I thought I would share some of my favorite retellings with you. Now not all of these are actually fairy tale retellings, but a couple of them are, so let's get into it. So the first book I want to talk about is The Goose-Girl by Shannon Hale. Now it took me years to pick this up because frankly the title and the cover do absolutely nothing for me, but I randomly picked it up on audiobook from my library and I absolutely loved it. Now this is a take on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale The Goose-Girl, and it is just so wonderfully charming. It is about a princess named Annie who is born with the ability to talk to animals, and something happens and she is sent to a rivaling kingdom to prevent a war, and her handmaiden kind of steals her identity and becomes the princess, and she has to live like a common person. This book is just straight up charming. Like, if you want a fun story that definitely has its dramatic moments but is just overall a pleasure to read, like, this book is really gonna make you happy, and I totally recommend you pick it up. Next up, I actually have a graphic novel, and that is Snow White by Phelan. Now this is an arc I really need to get a finished copy of it because the art's not done in here, but I still absolutely loved this story. It is obviously a retelling of Snow White, but it is set in Depression era New York City. Even though the art in here isn't finished, the story is so beautifully done, it's simple, it's to the point, and I think if you like Snow White, you'll definitely like this retelling as well. The next one will probably come as no surprise. It's easily one of the most popular fairy tale retellings in the YA community, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book definitely lives up to the hype. It is just such a clever retelling of Cinderella. It's a future sci-fi retelling, but she gets all of the elements that you would expect in there. For example, our main character Cinder is a cyborg, and instead of losing a glass slipper, she loses her bionic leg. I love this entire series. Each different book is a retelling of a different fairy tale, and I think she does a fantastic job with this. I'm now reading the Wires and Nerve graphic novel series, which takes place after this one is ended, and I'm loving that story as well. Next up, I have Rosebud by A.G. Howard, and we actually included this Phantom of the Opera retelling back in our classic remix box in January of last year. I really enjoyed this story. It has, again, all of the elements of Phantom of the Opera, but they're interpreted in such a different way. This book takes place in a musical boarding school in France, and it's just so atmospheric, and the writing is wonderful, and if you love the Phantom of the Opera, you're definitely going to want to check this one out as well. Next up, I have a classic in the retelling genre, and that is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Now, I picked up this book many years ago and absolutely fell in love with it. Now, I've actually read The Wizard of Oz as well, and I think this book does a fabulous job kind of flipping the story on its head. So in this book, we actually follow the Wicked Witch of the West, an Elphaba, and she turns out to be not quite who we think she is. It's really fun. If you've seen the play, which most people have, you'll definitely still like this book as well. And the final book I'm going to recommend today is Everland by Wendy Spinel. Now, we included this book a long time ago in our box, and I am so glad that we did because I don't think I would have picked it up otherwise, and I absolutely loved it. This book is a retelling of Peter Pan, and Peter Pan, the classic book, is one of my all-time favorites, so I kind of love to dive into that world in different ways as much as I can. This one is set in, it's kind of a dystopian steampunk theme, and it's so well done. Again, Wendy Spinel manages to get all of the elements of the classic story in here, but just turn it into a completely different thing, and it's really, really good. I've also read the follow-up book, Umberland, and that one is equally engrossing, and so I definitely recommend this series, and I think the final book is coming out soon. Alright, so that is just a few of the retellings that I have read and really enjoyed. I like to read retellings, so please leave your suggestions for me down in the comments below. If you were lucky enough to snag one of our sold out January boxes, I really hope you enjoy it. As per usual, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye!